everybody, and welcome to another edition of Husky Talk with UCTV Sports. Today, I am joined virtually by Pat Winkel, catcher on the UConn Baseball team. Pat, thank you so much for joining me. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Good. Staying healthy, staying busy?
Trying my best, just like everybody else.
Good. Well, Pat is the first of a series of chats I'll be having with coaches and players from the UConn Baseball team. And we're really thankful that you are taking the time to join us today. So we're going to talk a little bit about your baseball life, your time in quarantine, and what's next for you. You had a great freshman year at UConn. Now you're a rising junior now. We'll get to that in a second. But your freshman season, you hit .318, 7 homers, 38 RBIs, and you were scheduled to miss the entire 2020 season as a sophomore due to Tommy John surgery, which you had in mid-December. Now, can you talk me a little bit through what led to the Tommy John surgery and how the surgery went?
Yeah, I guess, if I had to sum up exactly what happened, it was just if you add every single throw that I've had in my life leading up to this moment, it's just the bulk of throwing finally catching up to me. That little wear and tear of every single throw on the second, throw back to the pitcher, finally taking its toll. And that's pretty much what it was just the quantity of games played, catching up to me. And we kind of figured out that's what the issue was after an MRI when I started having some really significant pain in my elbow this fall. And kind of we got the MRI and we figured out pretty quickly exactly kind of what the issue was. And really the only question was when to get the surgery. And we decided it'd make more sense to get it sooner rather than later so we wouldn't be up against the clock for next year's season, knowing I missed this one anyway. And that's pretty much what we did. And so far, so good. I'm thankful that I got it when I did.
So you say it's sort of a result of every single throw in your baseball career. Now, when did you start playing baseball?
Oh, geez. I remember reflecting back on my T-ball days when I was like 5 or 6, and then the purple team where I'm missing teeth, running to the wrong base after you hit the ball. Yeah, I would say 5 or 6.
Great. So 5 or 6, all the way through 4 years at Amity High to UConn, and then after freshman year, you played on the Cape. Now, what was that experience like?
It was really fun. It's a great place to play. I thought I had a great team of players, great coaches, and I was in a great location too in Harwich. But another thing was extremely humbling. You go there and you find out really quickly just how good the kids in the country are at playing baseball. I mean, I didn't hit very well. I hit like 200, if that. But I'm certainly think that I left the Cape a better baseball player because of it. I mean, if you see the guys they're playing, I'm catching guys throwing 101 miles an hour like daily, and it's ridiculous. And we're facing it too on the offensive end, so it's a great experience, and you definitely get your improvements.
Were there any players on your freshman UConn team that were similar to the talent you faced in Cape Cod, maybe a Jacob Wallace type?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Jake Wallace is a great example of the caliber, and he is honestly. He's at the top of the list with the guys on the Cape. When he was on the Cape, he was unstoppable, didn't give up an earned run. We had a kid very similar to him from Notre Dame throwing 100 miles an hour and just lights out. So, yeah, certainly catching Jake was a great lead up to the league and getting used to the type of pitchers we're going to be seeing.
Yeah, so you play on the Cape in the summer. You come back to school in the fall. You played during the fall, right? Couple exhibition games. And then you had the surgery mid-December, but you recently started throwing about 3 weeks ago, right?
Yeah, about 3 weeks ago.
So just walk me through what a throwing program for you looks like post-surgery, about 4 months post-op, or 5 months now.
Yeah, so it starts right when you hit the 4 months, and it's very, very structured, and that's the one thing I really like about it. It leaves very little up to the imagination, and it tells me exactly what I need to do every day that I throw, down to how many throws, how far, how the effort that I give, and how much rest I have in between each set. So I'm kind of at this phase right now where I'm still really lightly tossing and just working on increasing the volume, as in the quantity of throws, and slowly the distance. So I think I add 10 throws every week maybe, and 15 feet every 2 weeks.
And how's it feel?
Feels great.
The first throw, was it scary?
Well, the first time I threw, I was like, this is where it happens again. This is going to be the worst day of my life. And then you throw for the first time, and you're like, wait, my shoulder is more sore than my elbow now. And you just being in the position that I play, catching, you're always throwing, you're always feeling soreness, regardless of how much time you take off, how little time you take off. You're always battling something. And for the first time, and I would honestly say years, I've not felt anything in the elbow. And I don't even understand how it works, to be honest. I know that it does, and I'm thankful for it.
Yeah, you're sort of born with a little bit of tear in that UCL, right? Or as you play, you develop a little bit. So with the surgery, it really makes it a lot stronger than it was even when the elbow was 100% before.
Oh yeah, they say just a baseball player in general. If you took any baseball player off the street and ran them through an MRI or an MRI machine, they would find something at least a little wrong in there.
Right. So that's great. Good that you're feeling good. It's going to be exciting to watch you get back on the field. A little more juice in that arm, which was already pretty explosive behind the dish. But your brother, Chris, did get to play in the limited amount of games that the team had this year. And Chris just graduated from UConn this spring. He's a first baseman and outfielder for the team. I want to talk a little bit about how he's been able to help you in your recovery period, both mentally and physically.
Yeah, I mean, just right off the bat, whenever I'm not at physical therapy and it happens to be a day that I'm throwing, he's right there to throw with me. We measure it out in the driveway and we mark it with chalk from when we were kids, and that's what we use as reference. But for mentally, I mean, he keeps me grounded and tones me down, because when I started throwing, I was like, man, I just want to keep throwing, like I've done so long. But he's like, hey, just take it easy. It's a schedule for a reason. And he really helps make sure I don't do too much too soon.
That's great. But it must be tough not being able to compete at all, yeah? Especially for Chris, who was in the middle of a season. So have you guys been able to keep those competitive juices flowing at all?
Oh, 100%. Whether it's board games or what we're doing a lot now is we took the Wii off the top shelf for the first time in maybe 5 years, and thank God it still works, and we've just been absolutely crushing Wii golf.
And who wins those battles?
I'll win every once in a while, but for the most part, it's him. He's the one that kind of dominates in that.
Do you get him in any other games?
Yeah, I'm better at him in Wii baseball.
There you go.
But that's just because when we had it set up years ago, he would always play the golf, I'd always play the baseball, so we kind of know all the little tricks and cheats in it.
There you go. That's fun. I bet that's a blast.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's move into life in quarantine a little bit more. What's a typical day look like for you?
I mean, I'm probably right there with everybody else, waking up as late as they possibly can. Unless I got to get up for something like physical therapy, I like to do in the morning, so it starts my day off really well. The days that I don't do that, I'll probably sleep till 10, wake up, eat a breakfast, try to stay in shape the best that I can. Obviously, I do some sort of lifting when I'm at physical therapy, but when I'm on my own, I like to do more like running and just making sure I don't let myself go. It's hard to motivate yourself when you're just sitting on the couch all day. But go for a run, eat a good lunch, and then hit the Wii golf. Been trying to find things around the house to do. We built a fire pit in the backyard, which took about a day. I've been painting the deck, washing the windows, literally everything that I would have hated to do before. I'm like, please let me do it, because it just gives me something to do and makes the days not all blend together.
Yeah, it's the little mundane things, even just going outside to take a walk. But I'm sure mom and dad are happy to have your help with those things around the house too.
Oh, absolutely.
So I do want to ask also, this is sort of a thing that we like to do on these virtual chats, if you have any good TV shows or movies to recommend.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of movies, going through different actors. So like I hit Denzel Washington for a couple movies, like his Equalizer 1 and 2. I've hit Jonah Hill for his 21 Jump Street and Wolf of Wall Street. If I had to narrow it down to just one movie or movie series, all-time favorite, hands down, Lord of the Rings, 1, 2, and 3. You can't go wrong. You watch as many times as you want. They'll never get old. I've watched them probably in their entirety. Each one's about 4 hours. There's 3 of them. I've watched them probably 3 times this quarantine, all of them.
It's pretty good. It's can't go wrong with that.
You can't.
So looking forward, now obviously everything's up in the air right now, especially in Connecticut and the Northeast. It's a region that's still being hit pretty hard. But what sort of conversations have you had with coaches, with personal trainers, in terms of where your recovery is going and when you'll be ready back to playing again?
So knock on wood, I'm knocking on the table right now. Everything's gone great so far. We've hit all the check marks, all of the time schedules that they said that I would try to keep to. I've hit those without really missing a beat. That's the one thing that the doctor told me. He said when I got the surgery, he said the rehab is very up and down. He says you'll have good days, you'll have bad days. Thankfully, I haven't had too many bad days that have set me back. But everything so far is on schedule again, knock on wood. And if all goes the way that it's going right now, I'll be ready for beginning, middle, maybe even end of September. So hopefully right in line for fall ball. I haven't had too much talk with the coaches, whether they decide to have me play or not. I hope I can get at least some reps, but I know considering I'd be fresh off of rehab, I'm not sure what they'd have for me or what they plan for me. And honestly, whatever they have me do, I'll do. However I can help.
It's a great mantra, and I'm sure that it's gonna pay dividends for you down the road. Now, Pat, thank you so much for joining me. I'm looking forward to being in some classes together in the fall, hopefully in person, as we embark on our sport management major together.
As much as I don't want to do it, I hope we're sitting next to each other in that 8 a.m. psych class. That means up at school, just doing what we've been doing.
Absolutely. That'll get me through it. Thanks again for joining me. Stay tuned for the next episode of our virtual Husky Talk with UCTV Sports. We'll be joined hopefully by another player from the UConn baseball team. But for now, for Patrick Winkel, I'm Noam Watt. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Have a great night.